My hair's annoying me, so I put it up, and now it's still... Oh. I thought today that I would talk about making my showreel. Because one thing that we did actually get a chance to do was we had to make a showreel because we had a showcase in Manchester. I actually went to film college before going and doing a BA acting degree, and there I learned editing, and I do quite a lot of editing, and a lot of my classmates, when they were making their showreels, were panicking because they didn't know how to edit. So I thought, why not show everybody? A big disclaimer out there, I am not a professional editor. This is just my first attempt of a showreel that I've made at home. So I thought I might as well make a video saying how I edited it together and what it looks like. And I'll post a link to my showreel in the description as well. So if anyone wants to view it or whatever, they can. The first thing, before we get on to how you actually edit it, is you need footage to edit with. For me personally, all the work that goes into my showreel, which I'll show you in a bit, is either student films, stuff I filmed whilst training. My personal advice and like what I've heard is do everything you can, being anything that you can, because some of it might be awful and then some of it might be really good, and you don't need a whole thing, you only need a section of it. So don't worry about if the whole thing isn't great, but you do like 20 seconds of great acting, like that's the 20 seconds that you'll use in your showreel. You don't need to have loads in your showreel because a lot of casting directors will only watch the first 30 seconds or something anyway, unless they're interested and they'll watch more. So if you can only be in one or two things but they're really good, that's okay, rather than putting in like 6 snippets. I had a meeting with a casting director who came into my course the other week, and I showed her my showreel, and she suggested that I try and find some stuff where I don't speak as well, because a lot of showreels, if you're in it, even if you're the focus and you have really good acting and you can really see this character and what's going on behind the eyes, that's just as good as if you're centre stage and talking, as long as there is footage of you speaking in it, so casting directors and agents can hear your voice. It doesn't really matter as much, it just has to be a variety. The people that I film with were all on their BA course, but sometimes if you find masters films, that can be really good because they have another level of training, so then they're professional. Every single agent, casting director, they want to see what you look like and hear what you sound like, and you can't do that without a showreel. Like, you might have amazing headshots, but if they can't see what you actually look like, then you're not really going to get anywhere. So footage and a showreel is key. So this is Final Cut, which is what I use to edit my showreel on. My showreel's basically done anyway, so I'm just going to speak through how I did it, and I'm going to do a couple of tweaks and talk you through how I've done that. So the first thing I did was I dragged all my clips into this bit here. So I got a project called Showreel, which is, you do this by new event, and then once that's made, you do new project, and it will say put your showreel, and then you'll get this. The first thing I did was dragged all of my clips into this bit here of everything that I'd been in. So I got all my footage together and pulled it all into one thing, so I knew exactly what I was working with. I got my headshot, which is here, and I dragged it onto the timeline here. A lot of showreels had this at the beginning, so that straight away the agents can see your headshot, and then I put my name, my spotlight pin, and my contact details here. Obviously, with your contact details, it can be agent. This obviously isn't my personal email, this is one I use for work. So then straight away they know what you look like from your headshot and your basic information. As you can see, it's only 3 seconds before it goes on to the first clip, because you don't get very long in a showreel anyway, so you don't want it to take up too much time. The next thing I did was I pulled one of my clips into the timeline. Now, my first clip actually is 2 clips put together from the same thing. The actual thing is quite a long scene, and a lot of it I'm not in as much, or as you can see here, half my face is cut out. So I just chose the 2 bits which I felt showed my face the most straight away, and my voice. So I cut it down so that it's only 30 seconds long before changing on to the next scene. Also here, I put a thing saying the name of the piece and the year that it was. Not everyone puts the year. I think it just looks nice so that agents know they're looking at you recently. I made sure that this was the same font and everything as this, just to give it that more professional look. So the next scene, in this one my hair's darker and I also have a middle parting, which is why I put it second, to show that actually this is more what I look like now compared to this, but it just shows a variety. Only a 30-second clip. Now if you only have a couple of scenes, you can do a minute of each, but for me, because I had a few bits I wanted to show, I thought it was actually better that I did one and then another. The next scene I did, this is actually from a student film. It's very short and I wouldn't normally put it in, but as you can see, I'm much more upset. I've got a different character compared to this one, and I just wanted to show that I can do different things. Now, I haven't put the text in this one yet, so to put the text in, go to your titles here. I used this one, and I just drag it onto the timeline like this. I then double click and you can edit what you want here. So you put in the name of the piece. All your fonts are here, so I just put the same that I've used everything else for. And because I like things to be precise, I make sure that everything is also the same size. So if you want to check what this one is, if you double click it, it comes up, this is the size. So I just go like this and then change the size to the same and drag it to the bottom corner because you don't want it to take up too much space. I then do the same with the date. There. Once that's done, you obviously don't want it to be in very long. Now you can zoom in on your timeline just to make sure it's neat, so it's starting at the beginning of the clip and then about 2 seconds, so I sort of go up the seconds. Pressing B for blade, cut the piece like that and delete. So then you have your title, so it changes straight away and there's no messing about, it's just clean cut. You don't have to choose your order straight away. You can just drag all your clips in, cut them to the size you want, the bits you want, have a play around with that, and then once you've got all your scenes, that's when I put them into the order I wanted. I put my least favourite one last, because if a casting director or an agent has got this far, they're probably interested in you. I'd say 4 is quite a lot to put into one show reel. 2 or 3 is fine. So altogether, my show reel is 2 minutes 20. Now at the end, I've put a fade transition just so it fades out nicely. You can put this again at the end with your details, but as mine's already 2.5 minutes, I don't think I will. I'll also post it with all my details underneath it too. And that is how I got my show reel together. One thing I did get told is that it doesn't matter if you cut between scenes because agents aren't watching the story, but it shows off my acting much more than if I'd done the whole scene, which takes up a whole minute. And it's not focusing on other people too much because they don't want to see other people, they're watching the show reel to see you. Once it's done, you go on to share, which is in this top corner, and it will bring up, I go on master file, settings, video and audio. Now you can have it in all these different sources. I always go for this one. I like this one because it's a MOV file and it's not too much, so you can easily put it onto things without it taking up too much memory. And then you just click next where you want to save it and save, and it will load up here and that will go around, and then once it's done you have your show reel. So that's how I made my show reel. Yeah, I'll leave a link to it in the description at the bottom, so if you want to have a look how it fully turned out, feel free to give it a watch. you can just upload it onto whatever platform you want. Some people choose YouTube, some people choose Vimeo. Anything where it's just easily accessible for anyone to go and view it. I put mine onto my Spotlight as well, so when people go on my Spotlight, you can click on it and it comes up and then they can watch it there. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any more questions or anything, just let me know and I will try and answer them, or I'll try and make another video or something, because I am going to try and carry on doing this, but we'll see. I hope that this gave you a bit of insight on how I made my show reel and hopefully helps you make yours. So thanks for watching. Okay, bye.